September 2025. The world was once again shaken by nature's fury. From the vast Pacific Ocean, a storm was born, later named Super Typhoon Ragasa. What began as a tropical depression soon intensified into a monstrous system ready to devour everything in its path. Fueled by warm seas, heavy moisture, and perfect wind circulation, Ragasa grew stronger each day. With sustained winds exceeding 240 kilometers per hour, Ragasa officially became one of the most powerful storms ever to strike East Asia. Meteorological agencies across the region issued urgent warnings. Taiwan, Hong Kong, and southern China braced themselves for the worst. In Hong Kong, the typhoon signal number 10, the highest alert, was hoisted. Schools closed, transport was halted, and millions rushed to safety. In Taiwan, families secured their homes, stocked up on supplies, and prepared for emergency evacuation. And then the night arrived. Winds roared, rains poured, and Ragasa finally unleashed its wrath on land. Taiwan was among the first to face the full force. Torrential rains flooded cities and villages alike. Extreme rainfall triggered a barrier lake in the mountains of Hualien. The fragile dam could not hold, and in an instant, the lake burst, releasing a deadly wave of mud and water rushing downstream. In Guangfu, families clung to rooftops, waiting desperately for rescue as muddy torrents swallowed everything below. At least 14 people were killed in Taiwan, with dozens still missing. Many victims were elderly who could not evacuate in time. Landslides, power outages, and broken bridges made rescue operations nearly impossible. Search teams dug through waist-deep mud, day and night. Before striking Taiwan, Ragasa swept across northern Philippines, leaving destruction in its wake. 8 to 10 people lost their lives. Thousands fled their homes, while crops and fishing boats were destroyed. Next, Hong Kong braced for impact. Skyscrapers swayed as hurricane-force winds battered the city. Seawater surged inland. In one luxury hotel, waves shattered glass doors and flooded the lobby. Over 100 people were injured across Hong Kong. Falling trees crushed cars. Rooftops were ripped apart. Transport came to a standstill. The airport closed, ferries suspended, and the city ground to a halt. Ragasa then charged into southern China, slamming Guangdong, Shenzhen, and Zhuhai with brutal force. Over 2 million people were evacuated. Schools, stadiums, and government halls turned into shelters. Homes collapsed, entire neighborhoods submerged. Millions endured long nights without electricity or clean water. In Shenzhen, a financial hub, office towers shattered. Broken glass and debris littered the business district. Fishing vessels capsized in harbors, wrecked by towering waves and fierce winds. Storm surges worsened the flooding. Salt water mixed with mud, pushing deep into residential areas. While casualty numbers in China remain unconfirmed, thousands were injured. Economic losses are estimated in the billions of dollars. By the time Ragasa weakened after Guangdong, its remnants still brought heavy rains to Vietnam and Laos. Amid the devastation, stories of survival emerged. A young child was pulled alive from the rubble of a collapsed home. Rescue teams worked tirelessly, digging with bare hands through mud and debris to find the missing. One volunteer said, "We only have shovels and prayers, but we won't stop until everyone is found." Overwhelmed hospitals struggled to treat the injured. Patients arrived with cuts, fractures, and trauma. In evacuation shelters, children cried while parents whispered prayers of hope. Food and clean water were scarce. Aid workers and soldiers rushed supplies to stranded survivors. Despite the isolation, communities came together, sharing blankets, meals, and comfort. In the darkest hours, humanity shone brightest. Scientists warn that warming oceans, fueled by climate change, are making storms like Ragasa more intense. With greater energy, typhoons now bring stronger winds and heavier rainfall than ever before. The Barrier Lake disaster in Taiwan highlights how unprepared infrastructure can collapse under nature's power. Preparedness is key. Early warning systems must be faster, broader, and more accessible. Hong Kong's strict warning system saved countless lives, though economic damage was unavoidable. Taiwan now reevaluates mountain reservoirs, dams, and flood prevention measures. In China, the mass evacuation of millions proved effective, but recovery will take years. Economic losses are projected to reach tens of billions of dollars, crippling industries, tourism, and agriculture. Yet the true loss lies not in money, but in lives taken and the scars left behind. Ragasa reminds us, humanity cannot overpower nature. We can only learn and adapt. Though Ragasa has weakened, its wounds remain wide open. From the Philippines, Taiwan, Hong Kong, to China, millions now begin the long road to recovery. Ragasa may just be a name on weather maps, but for survivors, it is a nightmare etched in memory forever. May this tragedy teach us to prepare better, to care deeper, and to respect nature's power. Because when nature speaks, humanity must listen.